Yo, welcome back. 2 years later from a 5-year-old podcast. Shit. With the same old ass mic and same old ass software. I feel like, I've decided that I'm in a good frame of mind to record again. Like the past 2 years, um, I was not in the headspace to record. I was living life. Like I was so focused on finishing school, pursuing a careers truly, and discovering what it meant to be a young man to me. Like, nothing revolutionary, just taking the time for myself. And in a lot of ways, I just couldn't bring myself to record. Like, so much of my life was like fast, fun, exhilarating, more fun than it had been before. And I just want to reiterate, like, podcasting has done so much for me, bro. Like, getting a microphone and doing this for fun has done so much for me. So, like, a few things I want to clear up, bro. Like, I'm not doing this shit to be an influencer. How people think, you know, what self marketing is. I'm not doing this because I want to look appealing to people. Like, I'm not doing this for numbers or stakes, for a reputation. And as I go further with this, I'll elaborate on that more. But I just really wanted to get that clear because it's just a passion, and I feel like people have gotten lost from that. Something about like the social media gaze, where like because people are promoting the fun things that they do, they think you're trying to monetize it. And I'm not saying I haven't monetized on pop, because I've definitely monetized on being able to edit and produce and record all these different tangible skills I've learned. I've monetized on that. I've cashed out on that. But just because I upload and say, yo, I did this, that does not mean I want your immediate attention. And what's crazy is I'm saying this to people, but the people who actually listen to this aren't even in America. A lot of my listeners are abroad. I have listeners in Ireland, Spain, Germany, France, Canada, Mexico. Interesting. It's interesting to me. Yet on face value within the states, it's the simple rhetoric of take the mics away from men. It's conversations like, oh, they're trying to become famous, or your hobbies don't need to be a business. Well, my particular business that I organize doesn't have anything to do with my podcast. And the money I've gotten from running my business never involved my podcast. My podcast is strictly for me. The reason why I organized my podcast in the first place was a way for me to communicate all these complex ideas and create a platform for people to discuss theirs at a time where the only place I was doing it was on social media. Like, just the idea, we need our own spaces, we need our own apps. When people make their own spaces, we also want to tear them down. I mean, it's really pick and choosy. Nevertheless, I feel alive right now compared to when I was fighting to finish undergrad. And I'm, still getting myself together because there's so much I've learned about myself in the past 2 years. And it's a lot I want to share. And a big part of that is the fact that I can say what I want, like really coming to terms with that. Now, the outcomes that follow after what I say is a whole different thing. I can say whatever the fuck I want. And besides the stigma and social media perception, another thing I would like to address is like this idea of men in arts, media, creative works are perceived as more feminine. That's a whole. People will think you a bitch, and or you're terribly broke, just wasting away in the house, not doing anything. I want to clear. Like, I have a job. I just really like to do this as well. This gives me something to look forward to with my thoughts and ambitions. Really reiterating the fact that it never really mattered much to me. All these stigmas, actually it does matter to me. I had to break through these things, like the not just the perception, but how people will perceive my product, the things that I produce. Like, but it's more so how I interpret that. For the most part, a lot of people aren't gonna like whatever the fuck I'm doing. And if you don't like what I'm doing, you can just not listen. You can just not listen to this at all. You can check out. It's so easy. It's absolutely easy. And go back to whatever circles you're in to talk about me. You could do that as well. But yeah, I'm so much more than those negative points, man. I'm an artist. I'm fascinated with media and technology. I explore and I exercise my creative mind just as much as I do my logical mind. And yes, I am still a man. And I'm not letting the bindings of societal discourse inhibit me from communicating all the things that I ponder. Like that's just not happening. I'm not. I'm not confining myself to a box because I'm dynamic. I'm explosive. And because I truly feel like I have something worthy to say. So I'm gonna talk about all those different things, and I'm gonna invite people to talk about that as well. And again, like I feel like I have to step into this because it's what matters to me. Being in therapy, outside of therapy, getting to know myself, trusting myself, all these other outside perception views. It's really just dream killing. Like there is a space to be dead the fuck serious because reality meets idealism. What are we gonna do? Like niggas need money, right? So as far as this goes, man, it's just for fun. If 95% of my brain power goes to other things, this is a 5%. And when I say brain power, I really mean focus. Regardless, like if this work is not worthy to you, it's so easy to check out and not give a fuck about what I do. Because there are so many people who've been waiting, like so many people I've never met. And also the fact that I've been paying to keep this podcast open, and hundreds of people make downloads every month. Hundreds of people every month downloading, clicking a button to save the discourse I create on their phones, so they can listen at whatever point in time they decide to in their lives, and maybe even go back to it. But that's what I'm sitting with. Every now and then, like 2 years without uploading, and I'll check on my phone and it'll say 50 people made downloads this week. 107 people downloaded this week. 24 people downloaded this week. Bro, you can't fit 24 people in a Sprinter van. Nigga, that's huge. That's huge. I wonder what those people have to say to me. I wonder what they think. Negative or positive. Because I'm honestly open for it. And that's something I'm moving into with this podcast. Like, I don't have to be the right person. I did curate myself in the past. And that's why I got burnt out in doing interviews. Like, it went from being strictly philosophy to me interviewing people, which is cool and all. But for the most part, like, I feel like I lost the plot. Regardless, this is and has been good for me. Seriously, podcasting has opened a ton of doors for me. A ton of doors and opportunities. Not only did I graduate college, I discovered my niche in multimedia and communications, and I turned it to profit. I've made a profit out of this by doing fellowships, picking up contracts, organizing a business, working for government agencies, nonprofit partnerships. I've been on national TV a few times. What does that mean? That doesn't really mean anything. These are just achievements. Like, they're just achievements. Coming from not making shit, like literally coming from being a broke college student, coming from working at Planet Fitness, coming from dog shit, bro. Coming from being housing insecure, coming from sleeping on couches, to at least getting my own bedroom, to at least being able to room. And it's not perfect, but it's my story, and this is my path. Like this is how I've been growing, getting out of instability. I've had so much fun using this skill in professional settings, like to be able to say like I'm getting paid to edit videos and write news articles. But podcasting isn't doing that. Podcasting just opened the door. This is the return of the camel, man. This is the return of the camel. But the truth is, with all of that, those atmospheres know my creative liberties. Like I was losing the passion for this particular work. I was losing the passion with poetry. I was losing the passion with painting to it. Like a lot of the professional world kind of like robbed the joy of this work, because the thing about getting binded with corporate entities or corporeal entities, right? Because every space isn't a corporate space, but since it's a since it's an entity, right? Since it's an institution, an organization, some kind of, you're affiliated with a group and you're doing work for them. You kind of have to not just watch your mouth. You have to say what they want you to say, how they want you to say it. And that's just something that didn't work for me, because in a lot of cases, they literally wanted me to change my voice. Like, oh, you should sound more excited. You should be chippy and hip newspaper and around this time because it's alliteration and man, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not doing that, bro. And that's why I don't mark my success around immediate earnings related to, because it's just a certain shit I'm not going to do. I'm not about to get on the mic and start fucking doing hopscotch, like, and do take 1 and take 2 and take 3 and take 4 and take 5 and take 6 and take 7 and take 8 and take 9. Like, I'm not. It doesn't feel good on my soul. It just doesn't. But even outside of that, like, tailor my delivery and certain things I just can't include because, oh, that won't look good for the shareholders, or the board members aren't really gonna like that, so you need to, you know, like some shit just needs to be ass and or not perfect, because creativity entails it. Some things that are overly perfect are just ew. Because where's the rawness? Where's the rawness in it? And that's just a part of the few things I've discovered with this work over the past 2 years. Like I said before, this podcast was founded as a space for me to convey these thoughts and ideas in an organized manner. So now that I'm not involved with these government spaces anymore, like my name's not binded to any contract, and also that I've grown a confidence to not really care too much about the outcomes of what I say. The difference now is that, like, I will not be trying to appeal to anybody. They always say have a target audience, target demographic. Well, okay. But, you know, besides that, I don't care to be viewed as an academic or as a success, or not anything to make people paint a beautiful picture of myself in their heads. I'm simply here to amplify philosophical conversations. I'm here to argue rhetoric, and I'm here to provoke people to think. And I want to invite people to do that as well, at whatever capacity is possible. Thinking is beautiful. Thinking is beautiful, and the brain is a terrible thing to waste. And it hurts me to log on any of my social media apps and see literal agony on the timeline. Not specifically war crimes or island freak fest, even though that is paramount and sickening. I mean digital garbage, like just an LA boy. Just an LA boy for one, but this is a conversation for another day. Like, that's the other thing about influencers I really want to touch on and talk about. Like, influencers, streamers, whatever. Some people get really lucky, right? But the other end of that, like, some people are literally paid. Not paid actors is one thing. That's its own regard. But, like, people are literally picked for these positions. Corporate interest is what sends these people up, bro. Like, and I feel like that's what a lot of people are like missing. Just like the music industry, certain demographics of people get pushed because the labels, right? These corporations see a way. You know, it's hard for me to like tailor that. Like straight up, niggas is getting picked because their palatability. People are getting picked for their palatability, and they're getting communicated in that regard, right? Like, because people behave a certain way, the corporate execs are like, oh yeah, he'll do the perfect range for us to attract people in a certain psychology, and we can make bank off that. Keep them in the loop. Nigga, that was and has been hip hop for the past 20 some odd years, 20 some or more. But nevertheless, like, bro, it's so much digital garbage on the internet, bro. And well, it may not be absolute garbage to people, because some people really do get fruit from this content. Like, some people really do get life lessons from watching baddies, right? Am I here to slander baddies and whatever the fuck her name is all day and night? No. Because I don't care that much. But that shit is slop. It's fucking garbage. It's poison. Them women are on live TV eating hot Cheetos, fighting over $5,000 fucking dollars. Like, or $10,000 after tax. It's like, you know, bro, like, that's some people's claim to fame, right? Like, influencer shit, bro. Like, influencership, celebrity shit, like, bro, it's all an act. It's all an act. And like, I'm saying that, like, working in a TV company, bro, like, people forget that, yeah, this shit you're watching, bro, there's cameramen, there's a producer, there these executives, people are writing scripts. These TV shows, like, it is a form of creativity. And people are like, people in my family, you know, that's a whole nother conversation. People love this shit on artists, because, like, how are you going to make money? You went to school and you got this degree. You went to an art school? You went to an art school? How are you going to make money with that? How are you going to, you need a job. My nigga, These ads are art forms. These billboards are forms of art. The people designing cars, designing for like people, like architects and engineers. It's a whole other cabaret, right? But that is a fit form of exercise and creativity. And there is a way to make money with this shit. There is a way to make money with this shit. And for the most part, it takes an entrepreneur spirit. That's just one part of it. You don't need to be an entrepreneur, but it takes that spirit of being frugal and entrepreneurial to really market yourself, advocate for yourself, put yourself out there. And it's not even just yourself, it is your work. Your work has to speak for you. Your work and your rat check. The same way your resume will for your job. So it's no different. It's just a different game, a different lane. And that, but regardless though, yeah, influencers are paid, bro. Some people find fruit in that sloppy ass content created by relationship gurus, snake oil salesmen, just like fucking rage baiters. All of it. People find the fruit in it one way or another. And I'm not here to say that you're less than human for enjoying that shit. I'm just saying, from my perspective, that the surplus amount of this stuff is garbage. This is about the return of the camel. We almost 20 minutes into this recording, and I'm more so talking about the energy of the podcast, like what this will be, and what it will be about. Every episode probably won't even get to being this long, but for the most part, I want to just voice my reason here. And I just feel like pointing a finger at what's ugly, or what's ugly to me, is what I will be doing, bro. That's what I'm going to call the ugly shit ugly. Curious Camel, bro. This is the whole convoy. Matter of fact, Camel's moving caravans. Some people call it trains. Get in or get the fuck going. Like I this is my show. I'm gonna call the ugly shit ugly, and I'm gonna call what's beautiful beautiful. Simple, and simply because I feel the need to reiterate this again, bro. This podcast isn't an experiment. It isn't a clout chase. It is genuine inquiry. I'm not really interested in doing a live visual recording, as lucrative as people paint it out to be. I'd rather be unseen, at least for now. I don't see a point in recording my person when the point of this show is what I'm saying. I also won't be doing super long recordings unless the topic warrants it or an interview does. Like, if the resource material is not rich, I will not run my mouth for the sake of capturing time. Like I don't want to talk, just to hear myself talk and feed people that. Time is valuable, and it's a waste of space and time, literal space on my computer. And I'll start small and record one episode like each month. Maybe host one person, a guest, to talk on a particular topic, especially if they have something they want to bring. Interview style discussion. I'm not really trying to break people down, but I want to break down the ideas. I want to break down complexes. I want to break down systems. It's simply a discussion to get down to what really matters the most to people. Not just the person on the show, but like the point of discourse. Because we need discourse. We need to have conversations. Educated, intellectual conversations. I can even be exposed in these spaces. Like, that's okay. We need people to be okay with being wrong again. For myself. Like I'm not tailoring myself. I've lived so many lives. My past self is why I get to be who I am today. But I had to be wrong a lot to really get down to understand who I am. That's something I'm advocating for, because that's another aspect of life. We're getting out of this politically correct, like people policing verbiage to the point where people feel like they can't be themselves. Not only are we growing out of it, I'm growing to not give a fuck about it. I don't care. I don't care because I said what I said, and I know what I mean, and I know what I feel, and that shit is in my heart. Boom. That's a problem with a lot of leftists today. We fucking police the fuck out of other people's thoughts and words, like, but do you get what I mean? Do you get what I feel? You understand me? Motherfuckers just not understanding me. Like, and that's why people are off board. That's when people are off board, bro. Off board. And since I brought up leftists, I'm either left or right, bro. And I'm not a centrist. Do what you will with that information. Regardless, we need people to be okay with being wrong again. Like, so many people are scared to be seen or perceived as wrong. Like, it stifles growth. It stifles growth. If we aren't allotted the opportunity to be wrong, we may never take the steps necessary to become amazing people. You can't get to your best if you don't fuck up a little bit. Which is a major reason why I want to run the show. in an informal and a relaxed fashion. Like, I'm giving myself the grace to be wrong because it's necessary. Another reason why I want to challenge the rhetoric behind telling people to just put the mics down. Like, I understand the sentiment in telling niggas like when enough is enough, like when to allocate your focus and get a job, nigga, get a job, get a job. On the same token, I believe that it's disingenuous to tell people that pursuing their passions is a waste of their God-given time. It is their life. It is their life. Yes, we need more plumbers and electricians, and we also need more humanitarians and critical thinkers. What's amazing is that as humans, you can literally do both. You could do it at the same fucking time, the same damn time. You could be whipping the bus, fixing toilets, welding metal, and write a fucking poem at the end of the day. You could read a book. You could write a song at the end of your egregious work week. You could sell insurance and manage a group of artists. You know, like there's a lot to this life, and I think some people with limited vision project that sense of insecurity because they're overplaying into the system, overplaying into the matrix, overly playing into it, overly. And when I say overly, I don't say that as you shouldn't be working your 9 to 5 every fucking day and paying your bills and paying your rent and making sure your credit score is well so that you could then buy a house and then, bro. Everybody wants to do that shit. Everybody is trying to do that shit. But guess what? Everybody's path isn't linear. Matter of fact, growth isn't linear. So people are doing things to fulfill themselves because some people are working 80 hours every 2 weeks, 90 hours every 2 weeks, given they're fucking overly playing into the matrix and they don't feel shit. Let people have their hobbies. Let people build their joy, bro. And the thing is, it's because you can do both. Yes, and. I feel like an amazing example is someone I've taken inspiration from was Deontay Kyle. A lot of people within the podcasting world, within the media world, even quote unquote black community, bro, people know who Deontay Kyle is. If you don't know who he looks like, you've probably heard his voice, you've probably seen his work. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, because this dude was a truck driver making TikToks, having his rants, and he carried it over, bro. He carried his podcast, like created a podcast off the money he made as a truck driver, bro. And like, I mean, that's another valid point too, though, right? Because like, when is enough, put the mics down, right? Like, I mean, if you want to do this shit the right way, you need money up front. You really do, bro. You need a computer, you need a desk, you need a setup, you need a microphone, you need equipment, you need a space, you need soundproofing. But you don't need all of that just to start. Like, you can find that stuff along the way, regardless. But you do need cash up front to not only podcast, but to run a business, to run an organization, to run an entity, to run your fucking life. You need money. Niggas is not saying work isn't important. Being fulfilled is equally important. It is. Yeah, talk about Deontay Kyle, bro. Like perfect example, bro. Big CDL. The big CDL, like they say, get your CDLs and start driving truck. Niggas don't know automation is coming for truck drivers too. They're unionizing against that shit. We are at a point with AI where, well, I'm not going to talk about AI. That could be a whole nother conversation. But yeah, bro, automation is replacing the great replacement. The great replacement, bro. Like this is the great lock-in. Well, we're past the great lock-in. Everybody's locked in. Everybody's doing their best. But yeah, I take inspiration from Deontay Kyle. And also take inspiration from FD Signifier. This is an older dude. Both of these men are over 35, by the way. Like 38. FD Signifier is like 43. He's a YouTuber, quote unquote bread tuber, that makes video essays, live streams, critiques on black media, political, social issues, and radical thought. And they, both of these older dudes provide amazing perspective in my mind. For the most part, FD Signifier, he was a teacher. Master's degree. He finished his thesis probably like 5 years ago. How do I know all this stuff? Because I watch their content, bro. I watch the shit they produce. They provide immaculate perspectives, takes. For the most part, stuff that I already think in my own brain. Things that I believe to already comprehend. So, following and listening and tapping in, bro, over the years, bro, like, shit just makes sense. I say that confidently, bro. Like, I'm inspired by their work. Fuck it. And I would even say for as how I'm running this podcast, like I'm equally inspired by like the gaming community because I'm a gamer. I've always been a gamer. I've always been a nerd in that regard, a dork even if well, bro. Niggas used to get bullied about this shit, and I'm still here and I'm still standing. Like the COD community for the people that do know, just like commentary over video game footage. That's something I want to try. I want to do it. Whatever amount of episodes I make this year, like I want to put it on top of gameplay, different games I play, like or have played, like Call of Duty, Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, Elden Ring, fucking Baldur's Gate 3, nigga, like Rocket League, because people got ADHD anyway. Subway servers, niggas watching Subway servers in Minecraft, fucking platforming videos while listening to somebody talk about the Epstein files. Like, come on, man. That's where we are today, though. And people easily consume it. So I'm recording this podcast for many reasons, but the most important reason for me is to have fun, just flat out. Like I have time, I have a job, I have passions and creative liberties. I have a plan for the most part for my own life. This podcast is just the glue keeping me together, truly. So for the many reasons, I'm doing this for fun. For the past 2 years, I've exercised my abilities in professional spaces, and it has drained the joy of digital creation from my soul. I've done so many voiceovers that I couldn't bear to look at my microphone. I've edited so much audio and videos that making short films became bothersome. I've written so much for other people that the idea of drafting scripts became tedious and AI driven. The big GPT. Because what the fuck am I doing? And I was getting paid. I was still getting paid. But I was exhausted. I don't know if that's the type of work I really want to do. Like, I want to keep this fun. And I've had so much fun with that work. That's why I feel like I'm in a bit of a career shift. Because just because I'm good at it doesn't mean I need to make money off of it. Don't that sound familiar? Don't that sound familiar? Some more truth. All that time doing work has made me a better producer. Like, I have an eye that I did not have when I started my podcast in 2021. I have a different attention to detail. With this newfound touch and skill, I want to give this podcast the love it deserves that I was not willing to do in the past, that I didn't care to do. Because what the hell? Editing. Because I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for the homies here and across the sea. I know people have been waiting to hear from me. With all that's been going on, remaining silent felt like being complacent. Like I had to be quiet to keep my positions and proximities to political figures and nonprofit entities that work for the government, or, you know, these agencies and institutions. And it's not like playing that game, but I really don't care anymore, bro. I don't. Taking ownership in my product and my voice has given me a different agency, because none of this stuff really matters in the grand scheme of things, bro. It doesn't. What really matters is making the most out of the breath that we have while we are alive and well. It would be a waste of my thoughts to let this stuff go unsaid. And if I have a bad take, then oh the fuck well. I will be wrong. I'll be wrong. That's cool. I can be. And if people dig up my skeletons to dismay me, I will own them with all my heart. Because who I was and who I have been allowed me to flourish in my true character and continuity. Yo, this is the Curious Camel podcast, the Return of the Camel, closing out now.